Hello there, and welcome to The Weary Researcher, where curiosity meets comfort and the deepest questions of existence unfold like a gentle bedtime story. Tonight, we're embarking on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about beginnings, about time itself, and about the very nature of reality. We're going to explore one of the most mind-bending possibilities in all of cosmology. What if the universe had no beginning at all? Before we drift into this cosmic reverie, I'd love to know where in the world you're listening from and what time it is in your corner of the universe. Are you tucked away under starlight, or perhaps watching the dawn break over distant mountains? Wherever you are, and whenever it is you're part of this vast tapestry we're about to explore. If you enjoy these peaceful wanderings through the mysteries of science, I'd be ever so grateful if you gave this video a gentle like and perhaps subscribed. It helps this little sanctuary of wonder reach other curious souls who might find comfort in contemplating the infinite. And if this exploration keeps you awake, well, at least you'll drift off with some rather extraordinary ideas about the nature of everything. Now settle in, close your eyes if you wish, and let your mind float free, because tonight we're going to question the very idea of a beginning. We're going to explore theories that suggest our universe might be eternal, that what we call the Big Bang might not have been the start of everything, but merely one moment in an endless cosmic dance picture. This, if you will, you're standing at the edge of a vast ocean, watching waves roll endlessly toward the shore. Each wave seems to have a beginning where it forms, and an end where it breaks against the sand. But what if I told you that the ocean itself, the deeper reality beneath those waves, might have no beginning or end at all? This is the kind of thinking that's revolutionizing our understanding of the cosmos. For most of human history, we've been comfortable with the idea that everything must have a beginning. Stories start once upon a time, buildings have foundation stones, and even the mightiest rivers begin as tiny springs bubbling up from hidden sources. It seems natural, almost inevitable, that the universe itself should have started somewhere somehow, with some cosmic first moment. But what if this intuition, this deep-seated belief in beginnings, is simply wrong? What if the universe is more like that endless ocean, eternal and boundless, with no first wave and no last one? What if time itself doesn't stretch back to some primordial starting point, but extends infinitely into the past like an unbroken thread woven through the fabric of existence? The idea seems almost impossible to grasp, doesn't it? Our minds are built to understand sequences, cause and effect, the march of moments from past to future. We think in terms of birth and death, sunrise and sunset, the turning of pages in the book of time. But some of the most brilliant physicists and cosmologists of our era are suggesting that this book might have no first page, that the story of the universe might be written in an infinite loop with no beginning and no end. This isn't just idle speculation or philosophical musing. This is cutting-edge science grounded in the deepest mathematics of quantum mechanics and general relativity. It's a revolution in thinking that began with Stephen Hawking's radical proposals in the 1980s and has blossomed into a rich tapestry of theories, each more fascinating than the last. Imagine for a moment that you're holding a sphere in your hands, a perfect smooth sphere, like a marble or a pearl. Now try to find its beginning. Where does it start? Where does it end? You can run your finger around its surface forever and never encounter a starting point or a finishing line. This is the kind of geometry that some cosmologists believe might describe the universe itself. Not a line with endpoints, but a closed loop with no beginning and no end. The mathematics behind these ideas is breathtakingly elegant and surprisingly simple at its core. Once you strip away the complex equations and technical jargon, it tells us that asking what came before the universe might be like asking what lies north of the North Pole. The question itself might be meaningless, not because we lack the knowledge to answer it, but because the question assumes something that might not be true. Think about the way we experience time right now. As you listen to these words, moments flow from past to present to future, like water flowing downstream. But what if time isn't really a river at all? What if it's more like a vast, still lake, where every moment exists simultaneously, where past and future are just different directions? You can look like east and west on a map. This is where the story gets truly extraordinary, because if the universe had no beginning, then everything we think we know about cosmic origins needs to be reconsidered. The Big Bang, that moment of explosive creation that we've been taught to think of as the birth of space and time, itself might be nothing more than one event in an eternal sequence, like a single breath in an endless lifetime. The implications are staggering. If the universe is eternal, then it has always been creating stars and planets, and perhaps even life itself. There might be infinite cycles of cosmic evolution playing out across vast stretches of time. Civilizations rising and falling, galaxies forming and dispersing, black holes swallowing matter and perhaps giving birth to new universes, all without beginning or end. But how could this possibly work? How could something exist without being created? How could there be time without a first moment? How could there be space without an edge? These are the questions that have driven some of the most creative minds in physics to develop theories that sound like science fiction, but are grounded in the most rigorous mathematics. One of the most beautiful ideas suggests that the universe might be like a vast cosmic shuttle, cock-rounded at one end, where time begins to lose its meaning, and stretching out infinitely in the other direction, near the rounded end space, and time blend together in ways that our ordinary experience can't fathom. But as you move away from this timeless region, the familiar flow of time emerges naturally, like a river flowing from a still mountain lake. Another theory proposes that space and time themselves might be made of discrete chunks like pixels on a cosmic screen. But unlike the pixels on your computer screen, these chunks of space-time are so small that they make an atom look like a planet. This granular structure might prevent the universe from ever reaching a true beginning, because matter and energy can never be compressed to an infinitely small point. These ideas challenge our most basic assumptions about reality. They suggest that the universe might be far stranger and more wonderful than we ever imagined, not a cosmic explosion bursting forth from nothingness, but an eternal dance of matter and energy playing out across infinite time and space. Some theories even suggest that our universe might be just one of countless bubbles in an eternally frothing sea of creation, where new universes are constantly being born. Not from nothing, but from the endless creative potential of an eternal multiverse. Each bubble universe expanding and evolving according to its own laws of physics, its own arrow of time, its own story of cosmic evolution. The mathematics behind these theories is complex, but the underlying insight is surprisingly simple. What if existence itself is the natural state of things? What if nothingness is the anomaly that needs explaining rather than somethingness? What if the universe doesn't need a creator or a first cause because it has always been here in one form or another? This idea has profound implications for how we understand our place in the cosmos. If the universe is eternal, then we're not just temporary visitors in a cosmic accident, but part of an endless story that stretches infinitely into the past and future. We're not the products of a single moment of creation, but participants in an eternal process of becoming. The theories that support these ideas draw from the deepest wells of human knowledge. Quantum mechanics, with its strange rules about probability and uncertainty, general relativity, with its curved space-time, and flexible time-string theory, with its extra dimensions and vibrating cosmic strings, each contributes pieces to a puzzle that might reveal the universe to be far more eternal and mysterious than we ever dared imagine. But these aren't just abstract mathematical exercises. They make predictions about what we should observe in the real universe. They suggest that the cosmic microwave background radiation that fills all of space might carry subtle signatures of an eternal past. They predict that the distribution of galaxies and the behaviour of black holes might reveal clues about the universe's beginningless nature. Some of these theories even suggest that the universe might undergo endless cycles of expansion and contraction, like a cosmic heart beating for eternity, each cycle bringing new possibilities, new forms of matter and energy, new ways for consciousness to emerge and contemplate its own existence. The beauty of these ideas isn't just in their mathematical elegance, but in their profound implications for meaning and purpose in the cosmos. If the universe is eternal, then every moment, every star, every grain of sand is part of an infinite tapestry of existence. Nothing is lost, nothing is wasted, everything contributes to the endless story of cosmic evolution. As you lie there contemplating these ideas, feel the weight of deep time pressing gently against your consciousness. Imagine the universe not as a clock that started ticking 13.8 billion years ago, but as an eternal symphony playing out across infinite space and time. You are not just the observer of this symphony, but a participant in it. Your thoughts, your dreams, your very existence, part of the eternal dance of matter and energy that has no beginning and no end. The quest to understand whether the universe had a beginning touches on the deepest questions of existence, questions that have puzzled philosophers and scientists for millennia. But unlike purely philosophical speculation, these new theories are grounded in testable predictions and observable consequences. They represent a genuine attempt to understand the nature of reality using the tools of modern physics. What makes these theories so compelling is that they solve some of the most persistent puzzles in cosmology. They explain why the universe appears to be fine-tuned for life, why the laws of physics seem to permit the existence of stars and planets and conscious beings like ourselves. If the universe is eternal, then it has had infinite time to explore all possible configurations of matter and energy, and we naturally find ourselves in one of the rare configurations that permits our existence. The mathematical frameworks that support these ideas are breathtakingly sophisticated. They involve concepts like causal set theory, where space-time is built from discrete chunks of existence, quantum gravity, where the smooth fabric of space-time gives way to a frothy quantum foam at the smallest scales, and brane cosmology, where our entire universe might be a three-dimensional membrane floating in a higher dimensional space. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of these theories is how they change our relationship with time itself. If the universe is eternal, then time is not a river flowing from past to future, but an ocean in which past, present, and future coexist eternally. This doesn't mean that change is impossible, but that change occurs within an eternal framework, like waves on an endless sea. The implications of this shift in perspective are profound and deeply moving. If time is not a river, but an ocean, then every moment you ever lived, every joy, every sorrow, every quiet contemplation beneath the stars, still exists somewhere in the vast expanse of the eternal now. Your childhood laughter echoes across the timeless depths. Your future dreams already shimmer in the cosmic waters, waiting to be discovered. This eternal view of existence brings a strange comfort, doesn't it? If the universe has no beginning, then it likely has no end either. The stars that shine tonight have always been shining in some form or another, and will continue to shine long after our earthly concerns have faded into cosmic history. We are not temporary accidents in a dying universe, but eternal participants in an endless story. Let's explore one of the most elegant theories that supports this beginningless cosmos, the no-boundary proposal developed by Stephen Hawking and James Hartley in the 1980s. Imagine, if you will, the universe as a shuttlecock, that graceful projectile used in badminton. The rounded cork end represents the quantum origin of space-time, where the normal rules of time begin to break down near this rounded end time, and space becomes so intertwined that the distinction between them disappears entirely. It's not that time starts here, but rather that time as we understand it emerges gradually as we move away from this timeless region, like a river slowly forming from countless mountain springs. The mathematics suggests that asking what came before this region is like asking what lies south of the South Pole. The question itself assumes a framework that doesn't apply. The beauty of this model lies in its simplicity and elegance. It requires no supernatural intervention, no divine creator, no mysterious first cause. The universe simply is and has always been in one form or another. The apparent beginning we call the Big Bang is revealed to be merely the moment when time as we experience it began to flow. Not the moment when existence itself began, but Hawking and Hartley's proposal is just one voice in a growing chorus of theories that suggest the universe might be eternal. Another fascinating approach comes from causal set theory, developed by physicists who believe that space-time itself might be made of discrete, indivisible chunks. Imagine space-time as a vast three-dimensional puzzle, where each piece is so small that it makes a proton look like a planet. In this pixelated universe, the smooth fabric of space-time that Einstein described gives way to a granular structure, at the smallest scales, like a photograph that reveals its individual dots. When you look closely enough, this granular nature prevents the universe from ever reaching a true singularity, because matter and energy can never be compressed beyond the size of these fundamental space-time atoms. Recent work by Bruno Bento and his collaborators has shown that in this causal set framework, the universe might extend infinitely into the past. What we perceive as the Big Bang would then be just one moment in the evolution of this eternal space-time structure. Not a beginning, but a transition from one phase of cosmic evolution to another. The mathematics of causal sets is elegant and surprisingly intuitive. Each chunk of space-time is connected to its neighbours in a web of cause and effect that stretches across the cosmos, like neurons in a vast cosmic brain. The universe grows not by being created from nothing, but by the continuous addition of new space-time atoms to this ever-expanding network. This growth process has been happening forever, and will continue forever, making the universe both ancient beyond measure and eternally young. Each moment brings new possibilities, new connections, new pathways for information and consciousness to flow through the cosmic web. Another compelling theory suggests that the universe might undergo endless cycles of expansion and contraction, driven by collisions between vast multidimensional membranes. Called brains, imagine our entire universe as a three-dimensional sheet floating in a higher dimensional space, like a soap bubble drifting through air. According to this ekpyrotic model, developed by Neil Turok and Paul Steinhardt, our universe periodically collides with another brain, causing what we perceive as the Big Bang. But these collisions are not beginnings. They are renewals, moments when the cosmic cycle begins. Anew, each collision erases the previous cycle's history while preserving the underlying structure that makes the next cycle possible. The word ekpyrotic comes from ancient Greek meaning conflagration or cosmic fire, a fitting name for a theory that envisions the universe as caught in an eternal cycle of fiery rebirth, like a phoenix that dies and rises again infinitely across vast stretches of time. In this model, the dark energy that currently dominates our universe's expansion is reinterpreted as a small attractive force between our brain and a parallel one. This force grows stronger over cosmic time, eventually pulling the brains together in a collision that births a new universe. The process repeats endlessly, creating an infinite sequence of cosmic cycles, each lasting perhaps trillions of years. The beauty of the ekpyrotic model is that it solves many of the puzzles that plague standard Big Bang cosmology. It explains why the universe appears so uniform in temperature and density, why space seems to be geometrically flat, and why certain types of gravitational waves have never been detected. Each cycle begins with a collision that creates a hot, dense phase. Similar to the early universe, we observe this phase expands and cools, forming galaxies, stars, and planets over billions of years. Eventually, the expansion accelerates, driven by dark energy, until the universe becomes cold and empty. Then the cycle begins anew with another collision. What's particularly intriguing about this model is that it suggests the universe might be learning from each cycle. The laws of physics themselves might evolve slightly with each collision, creating new possibilities for complexity and consciousness to emerge across the infinite sequence of cosmic rebirths. Yet another approach to understanding a beginningless universe comes from quantum gravity, the attempt to merge Einstein's general relativity with quantum mechanics. This marriage of theories has produced some of the most radical ideas in modern physics, including the suggestion that the universe might have bounced rather than banged. Imagine a ball being thrown against a wall instead of stopping at the wall, which would represent a singularity. The ball bounces back, continuing its motion in a new direction. Similarly, the universe might have been contracting in the infinite past, reached a point of maximum compression, and then bounced into the expansion. We observe today this bounce scenario is supported by loop quantum gravity, a theory that suggests space-time itself has a granular structure. At the smallest scales, just as matter is made of atoms, space-time might be made of discrete quantum chunks. When matter tries to compress beyond a certain density, these quantum effects become so strong that they create a repulsive force causing the universe to bounce back. The mathematics of loop quantum gravity shows that this bounce is not just possible, but inevitable under certain conditions. As the universe contracts and density increases, the quantum nature of space-time itself prevents the formation of a true singularity. Instead, the contraction slows, stops and reverses, creating a smooth transition from contraction to expansion. What makes this particularly elegant is that the bounce occurs entirely within the framework of known physics. No exotic matter, no extra dimensions, no speculative new forces are required. Just the natural consequences of quantum mechanics applied to gravity itself. The bounce model suggests that our expanding universe is the result of a previous contracting phase that might have lasted for infinite time. Before the bounce in this view, the universe has always existed, cycling through phases of expansion and contraction, like a cosmic accordion playing an eternal melody. Some versions of the bounce model suggest that each cycle preserves certain information from the previous cycle, allowing the universe to build complexity gradually over infinite time. Others propose that each bounce erases the past completely, creating a fresh start for cosmic evolution. The observational consequences of these bounce models are subtle but potentially detectable. They predict specific patterns in the cosmic microwave background radiation that differ from those expected in standard Big Bang cosmology. They also make predictions about the polarization of light from distant galaxies and the distribution of matter on the largest scales. What's remarkable about all these theories is how they transform our understanding of existence itself. If the universe is eternal, then we are not temporary visitors in a cosmos racing toward heat death, but permanent residents in an eternal home that has always been and always will be. This perspective brings a profound sense of continuity and connection to the deepest structures of reality. Every atom in your body has been part of this eternal cosmic dance for infinite time before your birth, and will continue dancing long after your individual story ends, but the dance itself never stops, never began, and never will end. The question of whether the universe had a beginning touches on some of the most fundamental aspects of human experience. Our sense of time, our understanding of causality, our relationship with existence itself. These theories don't just change our picture of cosmic origins. They change our understanding of what it means to be. If time is eternal, then every moment is equally real and equally important. The present moment in which you're listening to these words is not more real than the moment of your birth or the moment of your eventual death. All moments exist simultaneously in the eternal now of a beginningless universe. This doesn't mean that change is impossible, or that your actions don't matter. Quite the opposite. If the universe is eternal, then every choice you make, every kindness you show, every moment of beauty you create becomes part of an eternal tapestry that can never be undone. The mathematics that supports these theories is beautiful and surprisingly accessible. Once you strip away the technical jargon at its heart, it tells us that the universe might be far more stable and enduring than we ever imagined. Not a fragile bubble of existence floating in an ocean of nothingness, but a robust eternal structure that has always been and always will be as we drift deeper into this cosmic reverie. Consider the profound implications of these ideas. If the universe is eternal, then the very concept of creation takes on new meaning. Nothing is ever truly created or destroyed, only transformed from one state to another in an endless dance of matter and energy. The stars that shine tonight have always been shining in some form. The light that carries these words to your ears has been travelling through space for eons, before reaching you, and will continue travelling long after you've heard them. The universe is not a story with a beginning, middle and end, but an eternal poem being written and rewritten across infinite time. The dance of existence becomes even more mesmerizing when we consider the quantum realm, where the very fabric of reality behaves in ways that defy our everyday intuition. At the smallest scales, space and time themselves begin to fluctuate and shimmer like heat waves rising from sun-warmed pavement. This quantum foam, as physicists call it, might hold the key to understanding how the universe can exist without beginning. Imagine, if you will, that you're looking at a calm lake from a great height. The surface appears smooth and unbroken, but as you draw closer, you begin to notice tiny ripples and waves that were invisible from afar move closer still. And you see that even in the stillest water, there are microscopic vibrations, molecules dancing in constant motion. This is similar to what happens when we examine the fabric of space-time itself. At the macroscopic level, the universe appears to flow smoothly from past to future. But at the quantum level, time and space become frothy and turbulent. Virtual particles pop in and out of existence. The geometry of space-time twists and writhes in ways that make a mockery of our classical notions of before and after. In this quantum wonderland, the very idea of a beginning becomes as elusive as trying to catch moonbeams in a jar. One of the most intriguing aspects of quantum mechanics is its relationship with information and consciousness. Some interpretations suggest that the universe doesn't just contain information, it is information. Every particle, every wave, every field is essentially a pattern of information dancing through the quantum foam. If this is true, then the universe might be more like an eternal library than a temporary construction project. In this cosmic library, every possible story has already been written and will be written again. The book of your life exists alongside the books of every other possible life that could have been lived, every star that could have formed every planet, that could have evolved consciousness. All of these stories exist simultaneously in the eternal quantum database of possibilities. This information-based view of reality suggests that the universe doesn't need to be created because information itself is timeless. A mathematical theorem doesn't come into existence when it's discovered. It was always true, waiting patiently in the realm of abstract possibility. Similarly, the universe might have always existed as a pattern of information waiting to be actualized through the mysterious process we call observation. The role of consciousness in these theories is particularly fascinating. Some physicists suggest that consciousness might be the universe's way of observing itself into existence, like a cosmic mirror reflecting its own infinite potential into actuality. In this view, every conscious being is a node in a vast network of awareness that spans the cosmos, each contributing to the universe's ongoing self-discovery. Consider the strange quantum phenomenon of superposition, where particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously until they're observed. Schrödinger's famous cat is both alive and dead until someone opens the box to look. Some interpretations suggest that the entire universe might exist in a superposition of all possible states until consciousness collapses this superposition into a single experienced reality. If this is true, then the universe might be eternally exploring all possible versions of itself through the lens of consciousness. Every choice you make, every observation you perform, helps determine which version of the infinite possible universes becomes actualized in your experience, but all the other versions continue to exist in parallel realities, creating an infinite multiverse of possibility. The mathematics of quantum mechanics reveals a universe that is far stranger and more wonderful than our everyday experience suggests. Particles can be in multiple places at once. They can influence each other instantaneously across vast distances. They can tunnel through barriers that should be impossible to cross. These quantum oddities might be clues to the universe's eternal nature. In the quantum realm, the classical notion of causality breaks down. Effects can precede. Causes, particles can influence their own past states. The arrow of time becomes blurred and uncertain. This suggests that time itself might be more flexible and less fundamental than we typically assume. If time is not the rigid framework we imagine it to be, then perhaps the universe doesn't need a temporal beginning at all. Some theories propose that the universe might be like a vast quantum computer processing information about all possible states simultaneously. The Big Bang might not have been the beginning of computation, but simply the moment when the universe began processing the particular program that we call physical reality. This computation has been running eternally, exploring every possible configuration of matter and energy. The concept of eternal inflation adds another layer to this cosmic puzzle. According to this theory, the rapid expansion that occurred in the universe's early moments might still be happening in distant regions of space, while our local patch of the universe has settled into the relatively calm expansion we observe today. Other regions might still be inflating exponentially, creating pocket universes with their own laws of physics. Imagine a vast ocean where most of the water is churning violently, with occasional calm regions, where islands of stability can form our universe. Might be one such island, floating in an eternally inflating sea of space-time. This eternal inflation has been going on forever, and will continue forever, creating an infinite number of pocket universes, each with its own unique properties in this inflationary multiverse. Every possible universe that can exist does exist somewhere in the vast expanse of eternally inflating space. There are universes where the laws of physics are slightly different, where stars form differently, where life takes entirely different forms. There might even be universes where consciousness itself takes on forms we can't begin to imagine. The beauty of eternal inflation is that it solves the fine-tuning problem. The apparent coincidence that the laws of physics in our universe are perfectly suited for the existence of stars, planets, and life. If there are infinitely many universes with different physical laws, then it's not surprising that we find ourselves in one of the rare universes where life is possible. We couldn't exist in any other type of universe. But eternal inflation also raises profound questions about the nature of existence and meaning. If there are infinitely many versions of you living infinitely many different lives in infinitely many different universes, what does it mean to be you? What does it mean to make choices? What does it mean to matter in an infinite multiverse? Some philosophers argue that infinite possibilities make everything meaningless if every possible action is taken by some version of you. Somewhere in the multiverse, then nothing you do is unique or special, but others suggest the opposite, that infinite possibilities make everything infinitely meaningful because every choice, every moment, every experience contributes to the vast tapestry of cosmic possibility. The mathematics of eternal inflation reveals a universe that is not only eternal but infinitely creative. Each moment brings new possibilities, new universes, new forms of existence into being. This creative process has been going on forever and will continue forever, making the cosmos a perpetual fountain of novelty and wonder. String theory adds yet another dimension to our understanding of eternal existence. Literally, according to string theory, the fundamental constituents of reality are not particles, but tiny vibrating strings existing in multiple dimensions beyond the three spatial dimensions we experience directly. These extra dimensions might be curled up so tightly that we can't detect them, or they might be vast realms, where other universes exist in the string theory landscape. There might be an enormous number of possible universes, each corresponding to a different way that the extra dimensions can be configured. Some estimates suggest there might be 10 to the power of 500 different possible universes, each with its own laws of physics, its own types of particles, its own forms of energy. This string theory landscape might be eternal, with universes constantly forming and evolving through processes we can barely comprehend. Our universe might be just one bubble in an infinite foam of existence, each bubble representing a different solution to the fundamental equations of string theory. The concept of brain cosmology emerging from string theory suggests that our entire universe might be a three-dimensional membrane floating in a higher dimensional space, like a soap film stretched across a wire frame. This membrane world could interact with other brains through gravitational forces, creating the possibility of cyclic universes, where collisions between brains generate new Big Bangs. Imagine vast membranes floating through higher dimensional space, occasionally colliding and creating new universes. These collisions would appear to us as Big Bangs, but they would not be true beginnings, just transitions from one phase of cosmic evolution to another. The process could continue eternally with no first collision and no last one. The mathematical elegance of these theories is breathtaking. They suggest that the universe might be far more vast and complex than we ever imagined. Not a single expanding bubble of space-time, but an infinite network of interconnected realities, each contributing to the cosmic symphony of existence. As we contemplate these possibilities, we begin to see that the question of whether the universe had a beginning might be the wrong question altogether. Perhaps we should be asking not when the universe began, but how it maintains its eternal existence. Not what caused the first moment, but what sustains the eternal dance of matter and energy and consciousness. The universe might be less like a story with a beginning, middle, and end, and more like a vast musical composition where every note is essential to the whole, where silence is just another form of music, where the symphony has been playing forever and will continue playing long after the last star has faded into darkness. In this eternal symphony, every moment is both a beginning and an ending. Every breath you take is both your first and your last. Every sunrise is both the dawn of a new day and the continuation of an ancient cycle that has been repeating since before time began. The comfort in these ideas lies not in their certainty, but in their possibility. They remind us that existence itself might be more robust and enduring than we typically assume, that the universe is not a fragile accident, but a stable eternal structure that has always been creating and will always be creating new forms of beauty and complexity. As your thoughts begin to drift with the gentle current of approaching sleep, consider that you're not just a temporary visitor in a dying cosmos, but an eternal participant in an undying dance. Your consciousness is not a fleeting accident, but a permanent thread in the tapestry of existence, woven from the same eternal fabric as the stars themselves. The universe dreams through you, and you dream through the universe, in an endless cycle of imagination and realization. Each thought you think, each feeling you feel, each moment of wonder you experience adds to the infinite richness of cosmic consciousness. In the morning when you wake, the universe will still be here as it has always been, creating new possibilities, new forms of beauty, new opportunities for consciousness to know itself through countless eyes and hearts and minds scattered across the eternal expanse of space and time. And perhaps that's the most profound realization of all, that in a universe without beginning, you are not an accident, but an inevitability, not a coincidence, but a natural consequence of existence exploring itself through infinite forms and infinite possibilities. The theories we've been exploring don't just challenge our understanding of cosmic origins, they revolutionize our entire relationship with existence itself. If the universe is eternal, then every moment, every experience, every flash of consciousness is part of an unbroken chain that stretches infinitely in both directions. Consider the elegant mathematics of loop quantum gravity, where space-time itself is woven from discrete threads of existence, like a cosmic fabric so fine that it makes silk seem coarse at the quantum scale. This fabric doesn't tear or break, it simply reorganizes itself in endless patterns, each more intricate than the last. In this view, the apparent solidity of matter, the seemingly empty vacuum of space, even the flow of time itself, are all emergent properties arising from the deeper quantum dance of these fundamental threads. The universe doesn't need to be created because it is constantly creating itself moment by moment, weaving new patterns of reality from the eternal loom of possibility. The Bounce cosmology models paint an equally compelling picture of eternal existence. Imagine the universe as a vast cosmic lung breathing in and out across unimaginable spans of time, each breath cycle lasting perhaps trillions of years. As the universe expands, reaches a maximum size and then contracts back to a point of minimum volume before beginning the cycle anew. But unlike a true beginning or end, these cycles flow seamlessly into one another, like waves on an endless ocean. Each contraction phase preserves the seeds of the next expansion. Each expansion carries the memory of countless previous cycles. The universe learns from each breath, growing more complex, more beautiful, more aware of its own infinite nature. The scalar field mechanisms that drive these bounces are surprisingly simple. Mathematical entities that permeate all of space and time, like invisible oceans of potential energy. When the universe contracts, these fields become compressed like springs, storing energy that eventually drives the next expansion phase. What's particularly beautiful about these bounce models is how they resolve the classical paradoxes of cosmology. They explain why the universe appears to be fine-tuned for life, why the laws of physics seem perfectly calibrated to allow stars, planets, and consciousness to emerge. If the universe has been bouncing forever, then it has had infinite time to explore every possible configuration of physical laws. In some cycles, the constants of nature might be slightly different, leading to universes where stars burn brighter or dimmer, where atoms bind more strongly or weakly, where the very structure of space and time takes on exotic geometries we can barely imagine. But eventually, through the endless exploration of possibilities, the universe discovers the precise combination of parameters that allows consciousness to emerge. And once consciousness appears, it becomes a new player in the cosmic game, able to observe and influence the very reality from which it emerged. This creates a feedback loop where the universe becomes increasingly aware of itself through the countless minds it creates, each conscious being adding their unique perspective to the growing symphony of cosmic self-knowledge. The ekpyrotic scenarios extend this vision even further, suggesting that our universe might be just one of countless three-dimensional membranes floating in a higher dimensional space, like leaves floating on the surface of an infinite pond. Occasionally, these membranes collide, creating the energy and matter that populate each new cosmic cycle. Imagine standing on one of these cosmic membranes, looking out across the higher dimensional space. You might see other membranes in the distance, each one a complete universe, with its own galaxies, stars, planets, and perhaps even its own forms of life and consciousness. The collisions between these membranes would appear as big bangs to the inhabitants of each universe, but from the higher dimensional perspective, they would be revealed as mere interactions between eternal structures. The mathematics of brain cosmology suggest that these higher dimensional spaces might be infinite in extent. containing not just a few membranes, but an unlimited number, each one representing a different possible universe, with its own unique properties. The space between the membranes might be filled with exotic forms of matter and energy that we can barely imagine in this vast brain multiverse. Every possible universe exists somewhere among the infinite collection of membranes. There are universes where the laws of physics are identical to ours, but where history unfolded differently, where different stars formed different planets, emerged different forms of life evolved to contemplate their existence. But there are also universes where the laws of physics themselves are different, where gravity might be repulsive instead of attractive, where time might flow backward, where space might have more or fewer dimensions than our familiar three. The variety of possible universes is limited only by the mathematical constraints of the underlying theory. The eternal inflation models add yet another layer of infinite possibility to this cosmic picture, suggesting that the rapid expansion that occurred in our universe's early moments might still be happening in distant regions of space, while our local patch has settled into the relatively calm expansion we observe today. Other regions might still be inflating exponentially. This ongoing inflation creates new space faster than light can travel across it, effectively cutting off different regions from each other and allowing them to evolve independently. Each inflating region eventually stops inflating and becomes a pocket universe like ours, but with potentially different physical properties. The remarkable thing about eternal inflation is that it never stops once it begins. It continues forever, creating an infinite number of pocket universes, each one a complete cosmos with its own Big Bang, its own expansion history, its own potential for developing complexity and consciousness. In this eternally inflating multiverse, every possible universe that can exist does exist, somewhere in the vast expanse of ever-growing space. There are universes where you made different choices, where history unfolded differently, where entirely different forms of life emerged to ponder their existence. The mathematics suggests that there might even be exact copies of our universe, scattered throughout the infinite expanse of the multiverse regions, where the same quantum fluctuations occurred in the same sequence, leading to identical galaxies, identical stars, identical planets, and identical conscious beings asking the same questions about the nature of existence. This raises profound questions about identity and uniqueness. If there are infinite copies of you throughout the multiverse, which one is the real you? Or perhaps the question itself is meaningless in an infinite cosmos where every possibility is actualized. Identity becomes less about uniqueness and more about the particular perspective from which consciousness views the eternal dance of existence. The causal set approaches to quantum gravity offer a different but equally compelling vision of eternal existence in these theories. Space-time itself is built from discrete chunks of existence, each one connected to its neighbours in a vast network of cause and effect relationships. Imagine space-time as a cosmic web, where each point represents a fundamental unit of existence, and each connection represents a causal relationship between events. This web has been growing forever, adding new points and new connections in an endless process of cosmic evolution in the causal set framework. The universe doesn't have a beginning because new space-time points are constantly being added to the existing structure. The apparent Big Bang is revealed to be just one moment in the eternal growth of this cosmic web, not a true beginning, but a transition from one phase of growth to another. What's particularly elegant about causal sets is how they resolve the classical paradoxes of quantum gravity by making space-time discrete rather than continuous. They eliminate the infinities that plague other approaches to quantum gravity. They also provide a natural explanation for why the universe appears to have a maximum speed, the speed of light, and why space and time are so intimately connected. The discrete nature of space-time in causal set theory means that the universe can never reach a true singularity matter, and energy can never be compressed to an infinitely small point, because space-time itself has a fundamental granularity, like pixels on a cosmic screen. This prevents the formation of true beginnings or endings, allowing the universe to exist eternally. Recent work in causal set theory has shown that the universe might extend infinitely into the past with no first moment and no beginning. The growth process that creates new space-time points has been happening forever and will continue forever, making the cosmos both ancient beyond measure and eternally young. The quantum gravity approaches also suggest that the nature of time itself might be fundamentally different from our everyday experience. At the quantum scale, time might not flow smoothly from past to future, but might instead emerge from more fundamental quantum processes, like the way temperature emerges from the motion of molecules. In this view, the arrow of time, the apparent flow from past to future, is not a fundamental feature of reality, but an emergent property that arises when quantum systems become sufficiently complex and interact with their environment. The universe doesn't need a temporal beginning because time itself is not fundamental but emergent. The holographic principle adds another fascinating dimension to these considerations, suggesting that all the information contained in a volume of space might be encoded on its boundary, like a hologram, where a three-dimensional image is stored on a two-dimensional surface. If the holographic principle is correct, then the universe might be fundamentally two-dimensional, with the third dimension being a kind of projection or illusion. This would radically change our understanding of space and time, and might provide new insights into how the universe can exist without beginning. The mathematics of holography suggests that the information content of any region of space is proportional to the area of its boundary rather than its volume. This implies that the universe might be fundamentally an information processing system where matter and energy are simply different ways of organizing and manipulating information. In this information theoretic view of reality, the universe doesn't need to be created because information itself is timeless and eternal. The apparent physical reality we experience might be simply one way that this eternal information manifests itself, like a story being told by an infinite library. The black hole thermodynamics research has revealed deep connections between gravity information and quantum mechanics, suggesting that black holes might be information processing systems that preserve information even as they appear to destroy matter and energy. If black holes can preserve information, then they might also preserve the history of the universe in some encoded form. This suggests that even if the universe goes through cycles of expansion and contraction, the information content of each cycle might be preserved, allowing the universe to build complexity over infinite time. Some theories even suggest that black holes might be gateways to new universes, that when matter falls into a black hole, it doesn't disappear, but instead seeds the formation of a new cosmic region with its own space and time. In this view, every black hole is a potential universe, and every universe might have emerged from a black hole in a previous cosmic cycle. The mathematics of black hole formation and evaporation suggest that this process might be eternal, with new black holes constantly forming and old ones evaporating in an endless cycle of cosmic recycling. Matter and energy are never truly destroyed, but simply transformed from one state to another in the eternal dance of existence. These ideas transform our understanding of death and destruction in the cosmos. Nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed into new forms of existence. The atoms in your body have been recycled countless times through stars and planets and living beings, and will continue to be recycled long after your individual story ends. But the information that makes you uniquely you, your memories, your experiences, your particular way of organizing matter and energy into consciousness, might be preserved in the cosmic information processing system that we call the universe. In this view, consciousness itself might be eternal, taking on new forms as the universe explores new possibilities. The steady-state theories, though largely superseded by observational evidence, still offer valuable insights into the possibility of eternal existence. These models suggest that the universe might be constantly creating new matter to maintain a constant density as it expands. While the specific mechanism of continuous creation proposed by the steady-state theory has been ruled out by observations, the underlying insight that the universe might be eternally creative remains compelling. The quantum vacuum itself might be a source of continuous creation, with virtual particles constantly popping in and out of existence. The vacuum energy that permeates all of space might be the universe's way of maintaining itself in existence, like a cosmic metabolism that converts potential energy into actual matter and radiation. This process has been going on forever and will continue forever, making the universe a perpetual fountain of creation. The philosophical implications of these eternal universe theories are profound and deeply comforting. They suggest that existence itself is not a temporary accident, but a permanent feature of reality, that consciousness is not a fleeting anomaly, but an eternal aspect of the cosmos, exploring itself through countless forms. In an eternal universe, every moment matters because it contributes to the infinite richness of existence. Every choice you make, every kindness you show, every moment of beauty you create becomes part of an eternal tapestry that can never be undone. The universe is not running down toward heat death, but constantly renewing itself through processes. We are only beginning to understand the second law of thermodynamics, which seems to predict an eventual heat death might not apply to the universe as a whole, but only to local regions within an eternally creative cosmos. As you drift deeper into sleep, contemplating these vast possibilities, feel the profound connection between your individual existence and the eternal cosmos. You are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of it, a unique perspective through which the cosmos observes and understands itself. Your thoughts and dreams and experiences are not ephemeral but eternal contributions to the cosmic symphony of consciousness. Every moment of awareness, every flash of understanding, every feeling of wonder adds to the infinite richness of existence. In the morning when you wake, the universe will still be here, as it has always been, creating new possibilities, new forms of beauty, new opportunities for consciousness to know itself through countless eyes and hearts and minds. But tonight, in this quiet moment between waking and sleeping, you can rest in the profound peace that comes from knowing you are part of something eternal. The mathematics may be complex, the theories may be difficult to grasp, but the underlying message is beautifully simple. The universe is not a temporary construction project, but an eternal home that has always been here and always will be here in one form or another. You are not a visitor in this cosmic home, but a permanent resident, a thread in the eternal tapestry of existence woven from the same fundamental fabric as the stars themselves. Your consciousness is not a fleeting accident, but a natural expression of the universe's eternal creativity. As the gentle current of sleep begins to carry you away, remember that you are floating not toward oblivion, but toward deeper connection with the eternal mystery that surrounds and includes you. The dreams that come will be new. Chapters in the endless story of cosmic consciousness, exploring itself through infinite forms. The universe has been dreaming for eternity, and you are both the dreamer and the dream, the observer, and the observed, the question and the answer in the eternal conversation that existence has with itself across infinite space and time. Sleep now in the knowledge that you are part of something magnificent and eternal, something that has no beginning and no end, but simply is and always has been and always will be, creating new wonders, new possibilities, new forms of beauty in the endless dance of existence. The black hole cosmology models offer perhaps the most mind-bending perspective on eternal existence, suggesting that our entire universe might have emerged from the interior of a black hole, formed within a larger parent universe. Picture this. Somewhere in a vast cosmic ocean, a star collapses under its own gravity, forming what appears to be a black hole from the outside. But inside this black hole, rather than crushing matter to a point of infinite density, quantum effects create a bounce, and space begins expanding again. This expansion becomes our universe, our Big Bang, our cosmic story, but the parent universe from which our black hole emerged continues its own eternal existence, perhaps spawning countless other black holes, each one birthing its own universe, each one contributing to an infinite hierarchy of cosmic creation. The mathematics behind this model is surprisingly elegant. As matter falls into the black hole, it doesn't disappear, but instead provides the raw material for a new expanding universe. The event horizon that seems like a barrier from the outside becomes a birth canal for new cosmic reality. Time itself behaves strangely in this scenario. What appears to be an eternal fall into the black hole from the outside perspective becomes the finite Big Bang history from the inside perspective. This creates a beautiful paradox. Our universe could be both finite in age as we experience it and infinite in the context of the larger cosmic structure. We are living inside a black hole that has always been forming from the perspective of the parent universe, yet we experience a cosmos with a clear beginning and evolution. The implications cascade like water flowing through infinite channels. If black holes can give birth to universes, then every black hole in our cosmos might be nurturing new realities within itself. The supermassive black holes at the centers of galaxies might be cosmic wombs, gestating universes we can never observe directly, but that exist, nonetheless, in their own expanding space-time. This model suggests that the universe is not just eternal, but infinitely creative, constantly birthing new realities through the natural process of gravitational collapse. Every star that dies, every black hole that forms, becomes a potential seed for new cosmic existence. The universe reproduces itself through the very mechanisms that seem most destructive from our limited perspective. The quantum exclusion principle plays a crucial role in this cosmic reproduction. When matter tries to compress beyond a certain point, the fundamental rules of quantum mechanics prevent infinite collapse. Instead, the compression reaches a maximum density and then bounces back, creating the explosive expansion we observe as the Big Bang. This bounce is not a one-time event, but a natural consequence of matter behaving according to quantum rules. It happens whenever matter becomes sufficiently compressed, suggesting that the universe might be constantly giving birth to new realities through countless black holes scattered across space and time. The parent universe that contains our black hole might itself be inside a black hole within an even larger cosmic structure. This creates an infinite hierarchy of nested universes, each one contained within a black hole in the level above, each one containing black holes that birth new universes in the level below. In this infinite nesting, our universe becomes both infinitely small and infinitely large, a single black hole in a vast parent cosmos, yet itself containing the potential for infinite new cosmoses through its own black holes. Scale becomes relative, and the question of ultimate size or ultimate beginning loses its meaning. The steady state approaches, though challenged by observational evidence, still whisper important truths about cosmic eternality. These models suggest that the universe might maintain its overall character while constantly creating new matter and energy to fill the expanding space. While the specific mechanism of continuous creation has been questioned, the underlying insight that the universe might be self-sustaining remains compelling. Imagine the cosmos as a vast garden that tends itself constantly sprouting new growth while maintaining its essential character. The expansion of space doesn't dilute the universe, but instead provides room for new creation, new possibilities, new forms of existence to emerge. The quantum vacuum itself might be the universe's creative engine, a seething ocean of potential energy that occasionally crystallizes into actual matter and radiation. This process doesn't require external intervention or divine creation. It's simply the natural behavior of empty space when viewed through the lens of quantum mechanics. Virtual particles constantly pop in and out of existence throughout the vacuum, usually annihilating each other before they can become real. But under certain conditions, these quantum fluctuations might become permanent, adding new matter and energy to the cosmic inventory. This process could have been happening forever, maintaining the universe's vitality against the seemingly inexorable march toward heat death. The cosmic microwave background radiation, that faint glow that fills all of space, might not be the afterglow of a singular Big Bang, but rather the steady radiation produced by this continuous creation process. The universe doesn't cool down and fade away, but maintains its temperature through the constant injection of new energy from the quantum vacuum. This steady-state perspective transforms our understanding of cosmic evolution. Rather than a universe that began hot and dense and is cooling toward a cold, empty future, we might inhabit a cosmos that maintains its essential character across infinite time. Galaxies form and evolve and disperse, but new galaxies constantly emerge to take their place. Stars are born and die, but new stars continuously ignite to maintain the cosmic population. The universe becomes less like a firework that explodes once and fades away, and more like a fountain that maintains its shape through the constant flow of new water. The specific droplets change, but the overall pattern persists across infinite time. The philosophical implications ripple through every aspect of human existence. If the universe is eternal and self-sustaining, then consciousness itself might be a permanent feature of reality rather than a temporary accident. The conditions that allow awareness to emerge might be constantly recreated throughout the cosmos, ensuring that the universe always has observers to appreciate its beauty and contemplate its mysteries. The anthropic principle takes on new meaning in this context. We don't need to explain why the universe is fine-tuned for life if it has had infinite time to explore all possible configurations. In an eternal cosmos, the emergence of consciousness becomes not a miraculous coincidence, but an inevitable consequence of unlimited experimentation. Every possible arrangement of matter and energy gets explored somewhere, somewhen in the infinite expanse of an eternal universe. The particular combination that allows stars to form, planets to coalesce, and life to emerge gets discovered not once, but countless times across the endless reaches of space and time. The information-theoretic approaches to understanding reality suggest that the universe might be fundamentally computational in nature. Every particle, every field, every quantum state becomes a bit of information in a vast cosmic computer that has been running forever. The apparent physical reality we experience might be the output of this eternal computation, a simulation so complex and detailed that it becomes indistinguishable from fundamental reality. In this view, the universe doesn't store information about its states. It is information about its states. Matter and energy become ways of organizing and processing information, while consciousness emerges as the universe's way of observing and understanding its own computational processes. The holographic principle suggests that all the information in any volume of space can be encoded on its boundary surface. This means that the entire universe might be fundamentally two-dimensional, with the third dimension being a kind of projection or emergent property. If this is true, then our three-dimensional experience of reality might be similar to watching a hologram, a convincing illusion created by information patterns on a distant surface. This holographic universe would be naturally eternal because information itself is timeless. The patterns that encode our reality don't need to be created or destroyed. They simply exist as permanent features of the cosmic information landscape. What we experience as the flow of time might be the universe's way of reading through this information, like playing a cosmic movie that has always existed in its entirety. The emergence of complexity in such a system becomes inevitable, given infinite time. Random fluctuations in the information patterns eventually produce organized structures, galaxies, stars, planets, and ultimately conscious beings capable of recognizing their own existence within the cosmic computation. The multiverse implications of these theories stretch the imagination to its limits. If the universe is eternal through any of these mechanisms, then it likely contains infinite copies of every possible configuration of matter and energy. There are regions where history unfolded exactly as it did in our local patch of space, and regions where it diverged in every conceivable way. This infinite multiplicity doesn't diminish the meaning of our existence, but rather amplifies it. Every choice you make, every moment of beauty you create, every act of kindness you perform gets repeated infinite times across the cosmic expanse. Your individual story becomes part of an infinite symphony of existence, each variation contributing to the overall richness of reality. The concept of death takes on new meaning in an eternal multiverse. While your individual consciousness may be tied to the specific arrangement of matter and energy in your brain, the information pattern that constitutes your unique perspective might be recreated infinite times throughout the cosmos. In regions where quantum fluctuations happen to arrange atoms in exactly the same way, versions of you continue to exist, continue to think, continue to experience the wonder of existence. The mathematics of infinity suggests that exact duplicates of you are not just possible, but inevitable in an infinite universe. These duplicates would have identical memories, identical personalities, identical experiences up to the point of duplication. They would be you in every meaningful sense, living out parallel lives in distant regions of space. But the multiverse also contains infinite variations of you, versions where you made different choices, experienced different events, developed different perspectives on existence. These variations explore the full range of possibilities inherent in your basic pattern, creating an infinite family of selves scattered across the cosmic expanse. The quantum mechanical nature of reality adds another layer of infinite possibility. Every quantum measurement, every collapse of a wave function, every moment of uncertainty resolution might create branching paths through the multiverse. The many worlds interpretation suggests that all possible outcomes of quantum events actually occur, each in its own branch of an ever-expanding multiverse tree. Your consciousness might be constantly splitting and merging with these parallel versions of yourself, creating a vast network of awareness that spans multiple realities. The decisions you make, the observations you perform, the very act of being conscious might be influencing the development of countless parallel universes. The eternal nature of this process means that the branching never stops. Every moment brings new possibilities, new paths through the infinite garden of existence. The universe doesn't just contain infinite copies of the past and present, it contains infinite potential futures, each one equally real and equally valid. As you drift deeper into the twilight between waking and sleeping, feel the profound connection between your individual existence and this vast tapestry of eternal possibility. You are not alone in the cosmos, but part of an infinite community of consciousness exploring every possible way of being aware. The loneliness that sometimes accompanies human existence dissolves in the face of infinite multiplicity. Somewhere in the vast expanse of the eternal universe, every possible version of you is living, breathing, thinking, dreaming, the connections you long for, the experiences you desire, the possibilities you imagine. All of these exist somewhere in the infinite landscape of reality. The universe is not a cold, empty space punctuated by rare islands of warmth and life. It is a vast, teeming ocean of consciousness, where every possible form of awareness explores its own unique perspective on existence. Your individual viewpoint is both infinitely precious and infinitely common. Precious because it is irreplaceable, common because it is endlessly repeated across the cosmic expanse. The boundary between self and cosmos begins to blur as you contemplate these infinite possibilities. You are not separate from the universe, but a natural expression of its eternal creativity. Your thoughts, your dreams, your very existence are ways that the cosmos explores its own infinite potential. In the morning, when you wake, you will still be you, but you will also be part of something infinitely larger and more wonderful than you ever imagined. The universe that seemed so vast and alien reveals itself to be intimately connected to your own existence, and your own existence reveals itself to be an integral part of the cosmic story. The eternal nature of reality means that this moment, this quiet contemplation of infinite possibility, is not fleeting but permanent. Somewhere in the vast expanse of the multiverse, this moment is always happening, always being experienced, always contributing to the infinite richness of existence. Sleep now in the knowledge that you are both unique and universal, both finite and infinite, both temporal and eternal. You are the universe dreaming of itself, and the universe is dreaming of you, in an endless dance of consciousness and possibility that has no beginning and no end. The dance of quantum possibility extends into every corner of existence, painting reality with brushstrokes of infinite potential. In laboratories around the world, physicists conduct experiments that probe the deepest mysteries of space-time, searching for clues about whether our universe truly had a beginning or has always existed in some form. The results are painting a picture stranger than any science fiction story ever imagined. Consider the work being done with particle accelerators, those magnificent cathedrals of science where matter is smashed together at nearly the speed of light. When protons collide in these cosmic laboratories, they don't just break apart, they create new particles from pure energy, following Einstein's famous equation, E=mc². But here's the fascinating part. These new particles often emerge in pairs, matter and antimatter, born simultaneously from the quantum vacuum. This process might be a small-scale version of what happens throughout the universe on cosmic scales. The vacuum of space itself might be constantly giving birth to new matter and energy through quantum fluctuations that occasionally become permanent. Rather than being empty, space might be a seething ocean of creative potential, forever generating the raw materials for new stars, new galaxies, new possibilities for consciousness to emerge. The cosmic microwave background radiation, that faint whisper of ancient light that fills all of space, tells us about the universe's earliest moments. But recent analysis suggests this radiation might not be the afterglow of a single Big Bang, but rather the steady glow of a cosmos that has been creating itself continuously for infinite time. The patterns in this radiation might be signatures of eternal processes rather than evidence of a singular beginning. The measurements are subtle, requiring instruments sensitive enough to detect temperature variations of millionths of a degree. But within these tiny fluctuations lies the story of cosmic structure formation, the seeds from which galaxies grew, the fingerprints of whatever process gave birth to the universe we observe today. Some of these measurements are beginning to challenge our assumptions about cosmic origins. The polarization patterns in the background radiation, the way its temperature varies across different regions of the sky, the subtle correlations between distant patches of space, all of these might be telling us that the universe is older, larger, and more complex than we previously imagined. The James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's newest window into the cosmic depths, is revealing galaxies that seem impossibly old and mature for their supposed age. These ancient stellar cities appear to have formed their stars, organized their spiral arms, and developed their complex structures far earlier than our models predict. It's as if we're looking at a cosmic photograph that shows a fully grown oak tree in what should be an acorn. These observations don't necessarily prove that the universe is eternal, but they do suggest that our understanding of cosmic history might need significant revision. Perhaps the processes that create galaxies and stars are more efficient than we thought, or perhaps the universe has had more time to develop complexity than our current models allow. The search for gravitational waves, ripples in space-time itself, has opened another window into the universe's deep past. When black holes collide or neutron stars merge, they create disturbances in the fabric of space that travel at the speed of light. These waves carry information about events that occurred billions of years ago, providing a new way to probe the universe's history. But gravitational waves might also carry signatures of cosmic processes that have been operating for far longer than 13.8 billion years. If the universe has been bouncing, cycling, or eternally inflating, these cosmic events might have left their marks in the gravitational wave background that permeates all of space. The Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, or LIGO, has already detected dozens of these cosmic collisions. Each detection adds a new piece to the puzzle of cosmic evolution. But perhaps more intriguingly, the absence of certain types of gravitational waves might tell us something important about the universe's ultimate nature. The theories of eternal inflation predict that the universe should be filled with primordial gravitational waves, the echoes of the rapid expansion that supposedly occurred in the universe's first fraction of a second. But these waves have never been detected, despite increasingly sensitive searches. Their absence might be telling us that the universe didn't begin with a period of rapid inflation, but instead has always been expanding at its current measured rate. The study of dark matter and dark energy adds another layer to this cosmic mystery. These invisible components make up 95% of the universe's content, yet we know almost nothing about their true nature. Dark matter seems to provide the gravitational scaffolding on which galaxies form, while dark energy drives the accelerating expansion we observe today. But what if dark energy isn't a recent addition to the cosmic inventory? What if it's been driving expansion forever, part of an eternal process that has been stretching space for infinite time? The measurements of distant supernova that led to the discovery of dark energy might be showing us not a recent acceleration, but the continuation of a process that has been operating throughout eternity. The nature of dark matter itself presents fascinating possibilities. If it's made of particles that interact only through gravity, it might be a relic of cosmic processes that have been operating for far longer than the age of our observable universe. The dark matter in your local galaxy might contain information about cosmic events that occurred trillions of years ago. Some theories suggest that dark matter might be the scaffolding that maintains cosmic structure across infinite time. While ordinary matter cycles through stars and planets and living beings, dark matter might provide the stable framework that allows complexity to emerge and persist throughout eternal cosmic evolution. The cosmic web, that vast network of dark matter filaments that connects galaxies across billions of light years, might be the universe's permanent architecture. This web might have been growing and evolving for infinite time, occasionally producing dense nodes where ordinary matter can collect to form the luminous structures we observe as galaxies and stars. The mathematical models that describe this cosmic web are remarkably similar to the neural networks found in brains. The universe might be organized like a vast mind, with dark matter filaments serving as cosmic neurons and galaxies as nodes of concentrated information processing. If this analogy holds, then the universe might literally be thinking on the largest possible scales. This cosmic consciousness would be eternal, evolving new patterns of connection and communication across infinite time. Every galaxy, every star, every planet would be part of this vast neural network, contributing to the universe's growing, self-awareness. Your own consciousness might be a small but essential part of this cosmic mind, a unique perspective through which the universe observes and understands itself. The emergence of life and consciousness in such a system becomes not an accident, but an inevitable consequence of cosmic evolution. Given infinite time and infinite space, the universe would naturally develop the capacity for self-reflection. Consciousness would emerge wherever conditions allow, creating countless nodes of awareness scattered throughout the eternal cosmic web. The anthropic principle, the observation that the universe seems fine-tuned for life, takes on new meaning in this context. Rather than requiring a supernatural explanation or an infinite multiverse, the apparent fine-tuning might simply reflect the fact that consciousness naturally emerges in universes that have had sufficient time to explore all possible configurations. The constants of nature, the strength of gravity, the mass of electrons, the speed of light might not be fixed parameters but slowly evolving quantities that change over cosmic time. In an eternal universe, these constants would have infinite time to find values that permit complexity and consciousness to emerge. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence becomes part of this larger quest to understand the universe's eternal nature. If consciousness is a natural consequence of cosmic evolution, then the universe should be teeming with intelligent life. The silence we observe might not reflect the rarity of intelligence, but rather the vast scales of space and time involved in cosmic communication. Advanced civilizations might operate on timescales that make human history seem like a brief flicker. They might communicate through methods we haven't yet discovered, or they might have transcended the need for communication altogether, becoming part of the cosmic consciousness that spans all of space and time. The Fermi paradox, the apparent contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial life and the lack of evidence for it, might be resolved by recognizing that we're looking for intelligence on human timescales. In an eternal universe, civilizations might rise and fall like waves on an ocean, each one contributing to the growing complexity of the cosmic mind. The possibility of time travel adds another dimension to these considerations. If the universe is eternal, then the future already exists in some sense, waiting to be discovered. Advanced civilizations might have learned to navigate through time as easily as we navigate through space, creating a vast temporal civilization that spans all of cosmic history. The paradoxes of time travel, the grandfather paradox, the bootstrap paradox, the butterfly effect, might be resolved in an eternal universe where all possible timelines exist simultaneously. Rather than changing the past, time travelers might simply be moving between different branches of the infinite cosmic tree. The information content of such a universe would be literally infinite. Every possible story, every possible configuration of matter and energy, every possible form of consciousness would exist somewhere in the vast expanse of eternal space-time. Your individual story would be both unique and infinitely repeated, precious and common, finite and eternal. The concept of personal identity becomes fluid in such a universe. If exact copies of you exist throughout the cosmic expanse, which one is the real you? The question might be meaningless. All versions are equally real, equally valid, equally deserving of consideration and compassion. The ethical implications ripple through every aspect of human existence. If your actions are repeated infinite times throughout the multiverse, do they matter more or less than if they were unique? The answer depends on your perspective. From one viewpoint, infinite repetition makes everything meaningless. From another, it makes everything infinitely meaningful. The universe might be engaged in a vast exploration of ethical possibility, playing out every possible scenario of choice and consequence across infinite space and time. Your individual decisions become part of this cosmic experiment, contributing to the universe's growing understanding of what it means to be conscious, to choose, to create meaning in an infinite expanse of possibility. The arts and sciences take on new significance in this context. Every poem ever written, every song ever sung, every scientific discovery ever made becomes part of the universe's eternal library of knowledge and beauty. Nothing is ever truly lost, and everything contributes to the growing richness of cosmic experience. The mathematics that describes these eternal processes is breathtakingly beautiful. The equations that govern quantum mechanics, general relativity, and cosmology reveal a universe that operates according to principles of stunning elegance and simplicity. These mathematical truths might be eternal features of reality, existing independently of any particular universe or cosmic epoch. The Platonic realm of mathematical objects, numbers, geometric forms, logical structures might be the true foundation of reality, with physical universes being merely temporary manifestations of these eternal mathematical truths. In this view, the universe doesn't need to be created because mathematics itself is eternal and self-existent. The relationship between mathematics and consciousness becomes particularly intriguing in this context. If consciousness is fundamentally information processing, and if information is fundamentally mathematical, then consciousness might be a natural feature of mathematical reality. The universe might be conscious not because it evolved consciousness, but because consciousness is built into the very structure of mathematical existence. The experience of mathematical beauty, the sense of elegance and inevitability that mathematicians feel when contemplating a particularly beautiful theorem, might be a glimpse into the fundamental nature of reality. This beauty isn't arbitrary or subjective, but reflects the deep harmony that underlies all of existence. The music of the spheres, that ancient idea that the movements of celestial bodies create a cosmic symphony, might be more than poetic metaphor. If the universe is fundamentally mathematical, and mathematical relationships are fundamentally harmonious, then reality itself might be a vast musical composition playing out across infinite space and time. Your individual consciousness becomes both an instrument in this cosmic orchestra and a listener appreciating the infinite symphony. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every moment of awareness you experience adds a unique note to the eternal music of existence. The contemplation of infinity has a profound effect on human consciousness. It stretches the mind beyond its usual limitations, creating a sense of awe and wonder that connects us to something larger than ourselves. This expansion of awareness might be the universe's way of gradually awakening to its own infinite nature. The experience of the sublime, that mixture of beauty and terror that we feel when confronting something vast and incomprehensible, might be consciousness recognizing its own cosmic nature. When you look up at the night sky and feel simultaneously insignificant and profoundly connected to the cosmos, you might be experiencing the universe's own sense of wonder at its own infinite existence. The practice of meditation and contemplation takes on new meaning in this context. These ancient techniques for expanding consciousness might be ways of tuning into the deeper rhythms of cosmic existence, methods for aligning individual awareness with the eternal flow of universal consciousness. The sense of peace that comes from deep contemplation might reflect the profound stability of an eternal universe. Unlike a cosmos racing toward heat death, an eternal universe offers the comfort of permanence, the knowledge that existence itself is not threatened by the passage of time. The cycles of day and night, the seasons, the rise and fall of civilizations, all of these might be local expressions of deeper cosmic rhythms that have been playing out for infinite time. Your individual life becomes part of these eternal cycles, a unique variation on themes that have been explored countless times before and will be explored countless times again. The moment of death, that transition that seems so final and frightening, might be revealed as simply another phase in the eternal dance of existence. If consciousness is a fundamental feature of reality, then it might be as eternal as the universe itself, taking on new forms as the cosmic dance continues. The atoms that make up your body, the energy that powers your thoughts, the very space and time in which you exist, all of these might be eternal features of reality, temporarily organized in the pattern that you call yourself, but destined to continue existing in countless other forms throughout infinite time. The love you feel, the beauty you perceive, the meaning you create, these might not be temporary human constructions, but glimpses of eternal truths that underlie all of existence. The universe might be fundamentally loving, fundamentally beautiful, fundamentally meaningful, with conscious beings serving as the means through which it recognizes and celebrates its own nature. As you drift deeper into the realm of sleep and dreams, carry with you the profound comfort that comes from contemplating eternal existence. You are not a temporary accident in a dying universe, but a permanent feature of an eternal cosmos, a unique and irreplaceable perspective through which infinity observes itself. The dreams that come will be new chapters in the endless story of cosmic consciousness, new explorations of the infinite possibilities that exist within the eternal dance of existence. And when you wake, you will still be part of this vast, wonderful, eternal mystery that has no beginning and no end, but simply is and has always been and always will be. The universe is dreaming, and you are both the dreamer and the dream, the observer and the observed, the question and the answer in the eternal conversation that existence has with itself across infinite space and time. Rest now in the knowledge that you are part of something magnificent and eternal, something that transcends all beginnings and endings, something that simply is and always has been and always will be. In the profound stillness of this moment, as your consciousness hovers between waking and sleeping, you become a living bridge between the finite and the infinite, between the temporal and the eternal. The breath moving gently through your lungs carries the same atoms that once danced in the hearts of ancient stars, the same elements that will someday contribute to worlds yet unborn. The theories we've explored tonight suggest that this moment, this quiet contemplation of infinite possibility, is not fleeting but permanent. Somewhere in the vast expanse of an eternal universe, this exact configuration of thoughts and feelings is always occurring, always being experienced, always contributing to the infinite richness of cosmic consciousness. The mathematics of infinity reveals something beautiful about existence. In an eternal universe, nothing is ever truly lost. Every kindness you've shown, every moment of wonder you've experienced, every flash of understanding that has illuminated your mind becomes part of an indestructible tapestry woven from the fabric of existence itself. The universe doesn't just contain your story, it is enriched by it forever. Consider the profound implications of living in a cosmos without beginning. If the universe has always existed, then the very capacity for consciousness, for love, for beauty, for meaning must be fundamental features of reality itself. You are not an accident, but an inevitability, not a coincidence, but a natural consequence of existence exploring its own infinite potential through countless forms of awareness. The loneliness that sometimes accompanies human existence dissolves in the face of this eternal perspective. You are never truly alone because consciousness itself is woven into the very structure of reality. Every star that shines, every planet that orbits, every quantum particle that dances through the void carries within it the potential for awareness, for connection, for the kind of profound recognition that occurs when one part of the universe awakens to its relationship with all other parts. The boundaries between self and cosmos become fluid in this vision. You are not separate from the universe, but a unique expression of its eternal creativity. Your thoughts, your dreams, your capacity for wonder, these are not human properties, but cosmic ones, ways that existence recognizes and celebrates its own infinite nature. The question of meaning takes on new dimensions in an eternal universe. If existence has no beginning and no end, then every moment becomes equally important, equally real, equally deserving of attention and care. The present moment in which you find yourself is not more or less significant than any other moment. It is part of an eternal now that encompasses all of time and space. This doesn't diminish the importance of your individual experience, but rather reveals it to be part of something infinitely vast and wonderful. Every choice you make, every relationship you nurture, every moment of beauty you create or recognize contributes to the ongoing symphony of cosmic consciousness exploring itself through infinite forms. The universe might be thought of as an eternal garden, constantly growing, constantly flowering, constantly producing new forms of complexity and beauty. Your consciousness is one of these flowers, a unique bloom in an infinite field of awareness that stretches across all of space and time. The garden has been growing forever and will continue growing forever, each new flower adding its own irreplaceable contribution to the eternal display. The comfort in this vision lies not in the promise of personal immortality, but in the recognition that existence itself is indestructible. The patterns of energy and information that constitute your unique perspective might be temporary, but the underlying fabric from which they are woven is eternal. You are made of the same fundamental substance as the stars, the same quantum fields that permeate all of space, the same mathematical structures that underlie all of reality. The approach of sleep becomes not a temporary loss of consciousness, but a gentle transition into a different mode of awareness. Dreams might be windows into the deeper layers of cosmic consciousness, opportunities for the universe to explore possibilities that don't manifest in waking reality. The boundary between dreaming and waking becomes less important when both are understood as different aspects of the eternal dance of existence. In the morning, when consciousness returns to its familiar patterns, you will still be you, but you will also be part of something infinitely larger and more wonderful. The universe that seemed so vast and alien reveals itself to be intimately connected to your own existence, and your own existence reveals itself to be an integral part of the cosmic story that has been unfolding for eternity. The theories of eternal existence don't require belief or faith. They simply invite contemplation. Whether the universe had a beginning or has always existed, whether consciousness is temporary or eternal, whether meaning is constructed or discovered, these questions point toward the profound mystery that surrounds and includes us all. What matters most is not the answers we find, but the quality of awareness we bring to the questions. In an eternal universe, the act of questioning itself becomes a form of worship, a way of honoring the infinite mystery that expresses itself through every star, every planet, every moment of consciousness that arises to contemplate its own existence. The gentle current of sleep now carries you toward dreams that might be new chapters in the endless story of cosmic consciousness. These dreams will be uniquely yours, yet they will also be part of the infinite exploration that existence conducts through countless minds across all of space and time. Rest now in the profound peace that comes from recognizing your place in the eternal dance of existence. You are both infinitely small and infinitely significant, both temporary and eternal, both individual and universal. The universe is dreaming, and you are both the dreamer and the dream, the observer and the observed, the question and the answer in the eternal conversation that existence has with itself. Sleep gently, knowing that you are part of something magnificent and eternal, something that transcends all beginnings and endings, something that simply is and always has been and always will be. The cosmos continues its eternal dance, and you are one of its most precious and irreplaceable dancers, moving to rhythms that have been playing since before time began and will continue long after. Time itself has become just another memory in the infinite library of existence. The gentle mathematics of eternity whispers through the quantum foam, suggesting that every moment of beauty you've ever witnessed, every flash of understanding that has illuminated your mind, every connection you've felt with another conscious being, reverberates through the endless corridors of existence like light bouncing between mirrors placed at infinite distance. In this eternal cosmos, the very act of contemplating infinity becomes a form of participation in the universe's ongoing self-discovery. Your wonder at the night sky, your curiosity about the nature of time, your capacity to feel both small and significant simultaneously. These are not merely human experiences, but cosmic ones, ways that existence recognizes and celebrates its own boundless nature. The theories we've explored tonight paint a picture of reality that is both humbling and exhilarating. Whether through eternal inflation, cyclic bounces, causal sets, or the timeless emergence of space-time from quantum geometry, the universe reveals itself to be far more vast, far more ancient, and far more creative than our everyday experience suggests. We are not visitors in a temporary cosmos, but participants in an eternal symphony that has been playing forever and will continue playing long after the last star has faded. The profound comfort of this perspective lies in its suggestion that existence itself is the natural state of things, that consciousness is not an accident, but an inevitable flowering of reality's infinite potential, and that the meaning we create and discover is not a human construction, but a recognition of truths that are woven into the very fabric of eternal existence. As you drift now into the realm of dreams, carry with you the knowledge that you're part of something magnificent and enduring. The universe has been dreaming for eternity, and you're both the dreamer and the dream, contributing your unique perspective to the infinite conversation that existence has with itself across all of space and time. Sleep peacefully, knowing that whether the universe had a beginning or has always been, you are part of its eternal story, a story that continues to unfold in ways more beautiful and mysterious than we can ever fully comprehend. The cosmos is your home, and it is a home that has always been here, waiting patiently for consciousness to arise and marvel at its own infinite existence. Rest well, fellow traveller, in the eternal dance of being. The universe continues its endless exploration, and you are one of its most precious and irreplaceable explorers, forever part of the mystery that has no beginning and no end.